It seems almost everything these days comes back to Europe. Not much more than 2 months to go and the debate is coming into focus. Today there's a warning it will affect the money in our pockets. The International Monetary Fund says because of the threat of Britain leaving, it's downgrading the UK's prospects for growth. The Chancellor calls it a stark warning.
They say if we were actually to leave the EU, there would be a short-term impact on stability and a long-term cost for the economy. So this is the clearest independent warning of the taste of things to come if we leave the EU. I think we're much better off if we stay in the EU. That would make Britain stronger, safer and better off.
The IMF says it would take time for everything to become clear, especially on whether Britain would get access to the European single market. The boss of one of Britain's biggest pub chains, though, says it's clear already.
Common sense says that we will have access to the EU market. Of course we will.
You can't be sure of that, can you?
We're the biggest supplier of buyer of champagne in the world. We're the biggest buyer of Camembert, one of the biggest buyers of BMWs. On what possible basis are the champagne growers of France going to want to not supply us with champagne?
Among his punters, some different views.
I think that we should remain part of the EU, and I think that the Europeans coming into the country have actually helped our economic growth.
The sterling's as strong as it has ever been, and it's strong around the world. Nobody's better than the sterling, and it's done it on its own. It doesn't need the euro to keep strong.
I feel like I want to be independent from Europe, but I think we've got so many fingers in them pies, it's going to be a hard thing to do.
When you hear that the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, is saying we think Britain will have less prosperity if Britain leaves, does that make a difference?
No, not really. We haven't got much prosperity now, have we?
The European connection is going to loom ever larger in the next 10 weeks until voters make their choice.